Сайн байцгаана уу хүн үзэгчдээ. Өнөөдөр манай de facto нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор Applus компани гүйцэтгэх захирал ноён МАРШАЛ оролцож байна.
МАРШАЛ Applus Mongolia компани гүйцэтгэх захирал. Австралийн худалдан аж үйлдвэрлэлийн тэнхимийн ерөнхийлөгч бөгөөд Applus Монгол хариуцлагатай хувьцаат компани гүйцэтгэх захирал МАРШАЛ нь корпорацийн удирдлагын болон үйл ажиллагааны талаар мэргэшсэн 20 гаруй жилийн туршлагатай бизнесмен юм. Applus Монгол нь инженер, уул уурхайн сэргээгдэх эрчим хүч, барилга, хяналт шалгалт болон хүний нөөцийн чиглэлээр үйл ажиллагаагаа явуулдаг олон улсад хүлээн зөвшөөрөгдсөн компани юм. МАРШАЛ нь сүүлийн 5 жилийн турш Монголд ажиллаж амьдарч байна.
Good evening.
Good evening, de facto. Thank you for having me.
We had the same interview 2 years ago, and the economy was not the best. You were very optimistic about changing and sunny days. So what happened since that up to today?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here today for the second time. And you're right, lots of things have changed in the last 2 years. Firstly, our name has changed. Last time I introduced the company as Applus Mongolia.
Yeah.
That was a mouthful for everybody, including me. It is now Applus Mongolia, and that's much easier to say, and it's more in line with our global brand. But as you said, 2 years is a long time. I was optimistic about the market, and I still am. I think the economy has changed from when we spoke last time. The Oyotogo project, Phase 2 underground development, has moved forward, and there have been glimmers of hope in the economy with regards to some other projects in the renewable energy sector, with a wind farm coming online and potentially a solar project, and the encouragement of the new government since we spoke last time, and hopefully the return of foreign investment.
And now, as we speak of Tugrik rate is getting better for Tugrik side. Tell us about the company. As I remember, it was an engineering service company, still it is. What is the company today around the world?
Well, in Mongolia, we would like to respect our human resource clients, and that's still our core business. Applus is a Spanish-based company, and we are interested and operate in the engineering services sector, in particular the testing, inspection and certification services. So we test to make sure that everything is going to work as the way it is supposed to, and also we can identify problems before they happen. For example, a pipe, we can identify the wear. For a weld, we can identify whether it's been welded properly. For drones, which is something that I brought to the country 3 months ago, we can have aerial drones, unmanned can't say that word, can I? Unmanned aerial vehicles to inspect, to make sure that everything that we do is safe and that no one is in danger. So, for example, the drone can check go up into the air and check the power lines to make sure that they're safe and the towers are safe, and they can do that without a human having to climb the tower and be at risk.
Let's talk about that. The need of this sort of services, tasting, engineering, pipes you were talking about. Say we have a lot of pipes. Every city has pipes, a lot under the ground. So in fact, it's a huge amount of pipes. And it should be very clear, if you wish, passport or certificate of each branch of pipes, right? Big, small, so that we know the things or damages before it happens. In that perspective, how do you see the quality of that in Mongolia?
Right now, I don't believe that there is quality in Mongolia in the inspection sector. I believe that it is more reactive than proactive. So yes, you currently have 4 power stations in Mongolia, and that would be a lot of work to test and inspect those all of the time to ensure that the city is not at danger and the power stations are not at danger. You talked about pipes underground. We have the equipment to scan the pipes underground to identify where the weak points are. We also have equipment that we can put inside the pipes to ensure that the roads are not dug up, and again, that no one comes into harm's way at all.
Unfortunately, and it's just because we are lucky probably, but this luck cannot continue forever. We even do not inspect properly that what we see, not talking about the not seen, the pipes underground, but the roads today. We don't see independent inspection report. In some cases we see only in case of lift in the buildings,
yes,
where it is inspected, this and that, but not all. In our home, for example, I don't know who tested it last time, and where is the guarantee that this will not fall down like it happened a couple of years ago? So what is the thing that takes us to move towards these directions? Is it demand of the people, or it's only after the bad cases, or what is your experience? You have this industry experience for many years. You're Australian, you have been working around the world. Tell us.
Well, I think everything costs money, and sometimes corners are cut to save money. With foreign investment coming into the country, I think there's opportunities to add certain clauses to some of those developments that require professional services such as inspection services to ensure that the equipment that has been ordered is the right equipment, has passed the standards, and is built in such a way that it's structurally sound. So structural integrity is part of our services that we offer, and we look forward to the opportunity of talking to developers, even the UB Mayor, to identify opportunities where we can add value to this country and to the projects that are already started and are due to start in the coming years.
Then it is also a matter of quality of the buildings we are building now a lot, and whether it is meeting the local standards, the quality of cement column that nobody sees after it is covered. That one wants to be sure that this is safe. And does the insurance system make sure that, or otherwise an engineering company does the test?
Well, quality assurance and quality control is very important to us, and that's something that we do. When banks get involved, there's another opportunity, like anywhere in the world, for their due diligence. Normally the banks have their professional people that inspect a building to ensure that their investment is safe as well. Mm-hmm. So there's opportunities for the investors to use Applus for quality assurance, quality control, inspection. There's also opportunities for the banks to use us as a third-party engineering firm to ensure that the projects are in line with international standards.
Banks, international banks or Mongolian banks?
Both.
Both.
We would encourage the banks to do due diligence on any project that they're investing in. It's their money, it's their shareholders' money.
At the end, it can, in bad case, if bad loan case, it can be their property as well.
Well, it depends on what happens with the building. We all hope that nothing happens with the building, but if there's money owed on a property and something happens to it, for example, a part collapses, what happens to that? We hope, firstly, that no one is ever injured in something like that.
Of course.
But of course, the banks have money invested in them that they need that return.
Correct.
So,
I'm concerned, for example, since what happened in London. I mean, it happened in London, but it could happen here anyway. So the question is now, by the way, London, the mayor, after that building, Greenwell, the building fire, within few hours burned everything, including many people. Now 22 other towers are being inspected and some of them being evacuated.
That's
people.
Right.
So now we should learn from that experience.
That's what I hope all developing countries learn from history. Now, Mongolia has a very bright future, and they're in a fortunate position to be developing in the 21st century. There's key learnings that have happened from the 20th century that should be applied now to ensure that accidents don't happen. And yes, it's a key opportunity to take advantage of a company like Applus being based in Mongolia for Mongolia and for Mongolians to improve the quality of the projects here.
Once you are being specialized in this testing sector, inspection sector, have you seen any study about the quality of buildings already built in Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar, or those buildings who are being built now? Do you have any statistics?
I don't have any statistics. I only have an opinion, and in this area, that's an opinion I should keep to myself at this stage.
Okay.
However, I see a number of buildings going up over the last 5 years that I've been here. Some of those projects have been complete, some of the projects have not been complete. My concern is for the ones that have not been complete, at what stage did they cease construction? Was it at a structurally sound stage, or was it just because they ran out of money stage? That's a concern to me as to what stage those projects stopped.
And when the project is stopped, building is staying in the same way for a long time, it has to do with also quality of the structure?
Again, yes, the quality of the structure from the beginning of the project, as you've mentioned, the quality of the concrete, the quality of the steel that is used, is all important, that it's identified to a specific grade from an approved vendor, and that you get what you pay for. I think there's many advantages of improving the structural integrity of a building. So in the event, dare I say, an earthquake, that the building is still standing.
And I understand you're going to bring particular equipments and to introduce to the market. Tell us about that day.
Yes, July the 6th this year, we're going to bring in some equipment from our other regional offices. The interesting thing about my time here is about coming into the market at the right time. We feel it's the right time now. So we've built up a reputation in the human resource sector. We have quality Mongolian people now on our database that we will train in the inspection services sector. And we will bring this equipment on July the 6th at the Tushin Hotel, where we will have pipeline inspections, we'll have a renewable energy sector booth, we will have drones, we will have weld inspections, we'll have steel plate inspections, we'll have tank inspections, because we not only work in the construction sector, we work in the mining sector, we work in the power and energy sector. So this is transferable throughout all sectors in Mongolia right now.
Mike, then when you bring this sort of important equipment, testing equipment of the quality of each parts and equipment, you talk about training of Mongolians into new businesses, kind of, where if they are good, they can stay forever, as every industry needs that. How do you see that amount of people, how you see, and how long it takes time to get trained these new Mongolian professionals?
Well, we've been identifying talent in Mongolia since we have got here. I find Mongolian people very educated and very interested in new technologies. So we've already identified people that we will send overseas for training, and we will bring foreign experts here to train in country as well. Everybody is extremely interested in this technology, and the real way for it to be successful is with national talent and not with foreign talent always coming to the marketplace.
What is the requirement? One is to be an engineer or what?
Again, yes, a mechanical engineer, a civil engineer, electrical engineer are key criteria for this. However, just to have a mechanical aptitude is enough. The training that we will give will ensure that the person is competent and has the right skills to perform the tasks to an international standard.
So on that, this July 6th, on your open day in Tushin, not only the people who needs testing, but also the people who want to work in that field can come and join you.
Yes, we will have a human resource section at the event where people who are interested in any sector, but at this particular day, the testing and inspection sector, can register with us to identify opportunities and potentially have training to join us.
And plus, like in any sector, recent change in the technology, in particular processing, data processing technology, chips getting smaller and stronger, way people now learn is completely different. And they require new skills. Even you are being educated 5 years ago, now you like drone.
Yes.
Which was not in existence there. Now you can, without people, send that drone, check, as you said. You have been checking also this OU Tolgua power line to the Chinese border, right?
Well, we know that there's a line there. We've put in a expression of interest to work in sectors like that. I think there's a number of power lines around the country that have been constructed many years ago. Have any of them been inspected?
That's the problem, and we don't see that report of existing bridges.
That's right. I mean, there's a domino effect. If one tower goes down,
yes,
what happens to the next
Everyone
one? And the next one, and the next one. And I think everything with construction and projects such as that, it's about due diligence. The environment in Mongolia can be described as perhaps harsher than other places, and that potentially requires a little bit more maintenance and inspection to ensure everything is the way that it should be.
You know, it raises an issue of our high school or university graduates meeting the demands of different industries. How are they connected? If the supply are meeting the requirements of the demand. So in that sense, what is your observation of human resource development and employment opportunities and possibilities in this country?
I think the opportunities are endless. There is a government inspection agency, and I understand that's doing a very good job. Also, we are a third-party inspection services, so you know, sometimes when you're checking your own work, because you've done it, you have a bias towards it. If you bring in a fresh set of eyes that has no bias towards that project at all, only has an independent set of guidelines and views that are internationally accredited, I think that's what's called due diligence.
Exactly, that's what we need in across all sectors. Now, plus now, we talk about diversification of economy a lot. And now we see more opportunities in renewable energy, where the technology is becoming cheaper per
kilowatt hour.
Per kilowatt. And how do you see the future of the country in that sense, supplying other countries wind energy, solar energy? Please tell us about
the renewable energy sector is something that's very exciting. As you know, there is one wind farm operating right now, Salkit. There is one under construction right now at Totsetsi, and there's potentially one due to start in the latter half of the year at Sanshan. That represents some very good projects in the renewable energy sector with regards to wind. There's also some talk of solar that is also coming in. But the real game changer for the energy sector is the Asian supergrid.
Yes.
Right now, for those that are in the know, they know that the grid has a capacity, and the more projects that come online, that capacity is diminished. So the Asian Supergrid initiative is something that's very, very important to Mongolia, and it provides them with the potential to export power rather than import power as it's needed.
Recently, we had a Business Council Mongolia Summit in the country, and we have heard presentation by a rep of this initiative, Asia Supergrid Initiative, mostly supported so far by the SoftBank, the large investor in Japan, who also created the Yahoo Japan, etc. And this person and that representative who was speaking at the summit was really bringing the very bright future picture of Mongolia being that part. And just if we use the wind potential of the country, solar potential of the country, combined together, Mongolia could have completely new economy.
Yes, 100%.
And that requires true inspection, testing, true professionals who will be building all these facilities and operating.
That's correct. I mean, the research involved in the projects is something that we also get involved in. So the Asian Supergrid, we expressed interest again to be involved in the research and development of the grid. So I think there's some big projects coming in the future for Mongolia, and I think Mongolia is showing foresight and forward-looking vision to be ahead of the curve. And I think right now it's important that the growth for these projects accelerates so that Mongolia is ready to embrace the change.
Exactly, this gives quite new opportunities to Mongolians, and also even they don't use the power energy immediately. As soon as they supply to the grid, even domestic Mongolian grid, Mongolia has a chance to be this accreditation of CO2 replacement. Yes. How do you see that part?
I think that's vital for all countries at the moment to reduce carbon emissions. I see solar as a potential solution for the Gur district to provide initiatives and power to the Gur district via solar. I think that would put Mongolia internationally acclaimed on the map with such an initiative. To have 3 wind projects in a country of 3 million people, I think it says a lot about the dedication to changing the way that Mongolia operates, especially in the winter. As we know, it's the pollution from the coal-fired heating plants is unbearable, to be frank.
Exactly. That's why everybody is now paying more attention. I mean, those who is responsible, of course, attention to the finding the best way of solution of the smoke in the Ulaanbaatar city. Some say, of course, it's true. Also, replacing all Gur district with housing which has a central heating. That's one way, but it looks like it takes quite some time. Half of the city is they're living like this, but there are several initiatives, different ways, and we need to test them. Which one is more efficient? Are you aware of this kind of?
I think it gets down to what the people want and how the government want the population and industries to grow. Everything is about research, and quality of coal that is being burnt also has an impact on the CO2 emission. I think that initiatives such as the new airport, New Bia Airport, being moved out of town are good initiatives to move the population away from the city centre as well. And hopefully some of the key learnings from the development of UB City, as it grows out into the other districts, those key learnings are identified. I think some of the housing and businesses out at Nook Village, for example, may or may not be connected to the heating grid, and there's other initiatives that they're using to identify heating capacities.
We have been long talking about decentralizing the city, creating good highways from the city to all these valleys around, in particular to the north where we have more forests. And we have, following your logics, we can create small town there, which immediately, just within 10 minutes, can get connected to the city if the road is okay. Then there could be different community.
Yes.
Then we will decentralize the population, city, and a lot other many things. To that regard, how much the solar energy or power, the renewable energy, can be a part of this establishment?
This can have a massive impact. Solar energy is still a developing energy that, the sun, I think Mongolia has 282 days of sunshine a year or something like that. I would like to see solar plants built out in these other regions, other SUMs, as opposed to the huge coal-fired power stations. And also the wind farms provide that opportunity, and there's even talk about hydro in other parts of the country. I think that is the way of the future. And if we look back historically where we've got oil from, if we go back centuries, we were killing whales to get oil to burn lights. Then we're drilling holes in the ground to have energy to have lights. Now we're using wind, now we're using sun. I think if we look back on history in 100 years, we'll see that mankind has made a number of mistakes to the planet, and we have an opportunity right now to fix those.
Also those batteries developed by Tesla, and also the other batteries that you can accumulate the power while the half of it is working, and now they have made even the root completely consisting of this sort of materials.
That's exactly right. I mean, Applus has a specific dedicated renewable energy division, and we are working with wind projects right now with them to identify a better project and to add value to those projects.
Mike, that's what is you're doing is kind of in front of these big changes, coming even to Mongolia, the very remote landlocked country. But however, it is coming. So I think it's a very good start, and it's a great job, and I would like to congratulate you and your team with these achievements, and great success on July 6th.
Thank you, Jagal. I hope that you will be there on July the 6th. I would also like to say that I'm the head of AusCham Mongolia, so we are working with Mongolian businesses and Australian businesses. And to be honest, we'll work with any business to talk about the potential for success and to overcome challenges, not only for the business community, but for Mongolia. So we're very excited about the growth that is happening here right now.
Here also we should mention about the growing number of Australian alumni of Mongolia,
Yes.
who is a part of your AusCham, and I think there are so many similarities in between two countries, and I'm so glad to learn more and more that more Australian firms, people like you coming and working in Mongolia.
That's right. There is an organisation called Mozzies. Mongolians educated in Australia. It's a very it's a term of endearment.
Yep. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Dr.
Good luck.
Thank you.
За хүн үзэгчдээ өнөөдөр манай de facto нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор Applus Mongolia гэж компани гүйцэтгэх захирал ноён МАРШАЛ оролцлоо. Их баярлалаа.